I want to take you back with me to Central Avenue, across the DC-Maryland borderline, to get an update on a few renovations happening in Capitol Heights, Maryland, just minutes outside of DC. But first, if you remember from my video Something Has Changed on Central Avenue, I showed you the remains of a building that I couldn't remember what it was until I saw the golden arches from behind the fence. That was June of 2022. And then I went back in September to see that construction has started on a new building. I didn't know what they were building, but a lot of people guessed that most likely it would be another McDonald's. So I went back to find out. And yes, everyone was right. It's a new and improved McDonald's. As of April 2023, this new McDonald's design is quoted from the McDonald's Corporation as the experience of the future. There were many protests from angry franchisees because they were being forced to upgrade their restaurants with renovations costing millions of dollars. So McDonald's has responded by offering to pay 55% of the bill. McDonald's has said that the renovations are deemed necessary in order to modernize the business. Franchisees are required to install and pay 45% of the cost for automated ordering kiosks, digital menu boards, and updated marketing materials so that the restaurants can deliver McDonald's orders directly to the customers. For most restaurants, this required a complete or nearly complete remodel with an estimated $700,000 or more. McDonald's initially gave a deadline of year 2020, or franchisees faced paying the entire bill themselves. Because of the revolt from the franchisees, the McDonald's Corporation has pushed the deadline back to year 2022 to finish its renovations. Company executives acknowledge that the remodels are hurting sales more than expected and that it takes longer for the sales and traffic to recover once the remodels are finished. In addition to the remodel extension, McDonald's said that it's increasing its focus on drive-through operations to improve speed. The company said that it now expects most of its nearly 14,000 U.S. restaurants to be remodeled by the year end of 2022, with the kiosk-centric experience of the future design. Hoping that kiosk and smartphone ordering systems will now not only improve the customer experience, but also lower labor costs for the franchisee, and home delivery is hoped as a result in increased orders from those who choose not to leave home. Okay, that was the first update from Central Avenue. The McDonald's was renovated. So let's move across the street from Central Avenue and Bright Seat Road to turn the corner on Hampton Park Boulevard, and then onto the north side of Hampton Mall Drive. Starting on the left side of the mall, you can see that the first store is the Panda Express restaurant, and next to that is a 7-Eleven convenience store. Moving to the right side of the street, there's a marijuana dispensary there now. This is Marion, Maine, a dispensary co-owned and operated by 26-year-old Hope Wiseman, her mother, Dr. Octavia Wiseman, and Dr. Larry Bryant. Wiseman has said that she's the youngest black dispensary owner in the country at the time the business opened. The grand opening was September 29, 2018. She's quoted as saying that she hopes that someone knocks that title away from her as soon as possible, because more black people are needed in the industry. Wiseman said that Marion, Maine is the first black-owned dispensary to open in Maryland, although there are other minority-owned dispensaries in the state. Before starting the business, Hope Wiseman has said that she majored in economics at Spelman College and has had a job in investment banking right after graduation. Hope's mother, Dr. Octavia Wiseman, has had a career in dental care before becoming co-owner, along with third co-owner Dr. Larry Bryant with a 20-year oral surgery practice in PG County, Maryland. Before Marion, Maine opened, the location was Bella Furniture Outlet in 2017, and before that, it was Limelight, a video store in 2009. Next door to Marion, Maine is Sardi Paolo's Alla Brasa restaurant. This has been here well over a decade, serving a mixture of American and Peruvian food with rotisserie chicken, homemade sauces, and fresh ingredients, according to its website. The first Sardi's restaurant opened in Beltsville, Maryland in 2008. Sardi's has 10 locations in Maryland and 1 in Pennsylvania so far. Before this was a Sardi's restaurant, this was a Jerry's Sub and Pizza with Carvel ice cream. Moving on next door. This is the shopping center's anchor store, the Home Depot. This home improvement store has been here at least 15 or 20 years. Across the street, the Country Inn Hotel also has been here at least 15 years. So let's go past the hotel to enter further into the shopping center. On our way in, on the left side, is the backside of a credit union. We'll go around the front to see that this was a standalone building in 2018. But now this little building has been knocked down and turned into multiple stores in 2022. Now let's go back to the right side of the mall, where we see the backside of Enterprise Car Rental. Now we'll come around the front to see that this little standalone building back as it was in 2018. But now it has been completely knocked down as of 2022. You can now clearly see the Home Depot right behind it. Since we're on the right side of the mall, let's completely circle around it from right to left. As you can still see, the old mall is still being renovated. Let's start back in 2018 with the first building. This is the Sanctuary. This Baptist church has moved from this location to Crane Highway in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I took this picture in 2019 and put it on Facebook asking, "What's happening to Hampton Park Mall?" The answers I got back was that an apartment building was being built and they were also updating the stores. Now in 2023, the large church has been split into multiple buildings. There's a Dollar General there now, and it doesn't seem to be open yet, while the buildings on each side of it are still empty. This section of parking lot has been repaved and painted, but let's move further down the mall. Remember what it looked like in 2018. This is the current status as of April 2023. Most of the stores have closed because of the renovation, and half of the parking lot has been dug up. But Everlasting Life Restaurant has stayed open. I've eaten at E-Life a few times in the past, and I enjoyed the food, so I do recommend it. Everlasting Life Restaurant and Lounge is soul food with a 100% vegan menu. Everlasting Life, now called E-Life, is a cafeteria-styled restaurant offering fresh salads, whole plant-based entrees and side dishes, vegan desserts, juices, and smoothies. They offer cooked and raw food with vegan versions of barbecue ribs, mac and cheese, soy-free ice cream, lattes, fruit and vegetables. The website says come in for a hearty weekend brunch complete with spiced tofu scramble, vegan sausage, fresh orange juice, steamed broccoli, organic corn grits, and mouth-watering pancakes made with unbleached whole wheat flour and soy milk, served with 100% maple syrup. E-Life brags about not just being another vegan restaurant. It's the place of peace, hope, and inspiration in the midst of a community plagued with an astounding number of sick and obese residents who have been drowning in a sea of poor dietary habits for decades. eLife is located in a strip mall minutes outside of the nation's capital, and eLife's founder, Dr. Baruch, I hope I'm correctly pronouncing his name, Dr. Baruch has said, "I see a community that was left without and underserved. It's gross what's being done to our people, but rather than curse the darkness, I made it a mission of everlasting life to shine that light." Dr. Baruch Ben Yehuda, again, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, has been a vegan since 1978, founding Everlasting Life with the idea that one should not have to leave one's own neighborhood to find something healthy to eat. He looked around and realized that there were only unhealthy restaurants serving his largely Black American community. His observation is based on an awareness that stemmed from an experience he had many years ago. While setting up speakers at a food conference, he heard one of the speakers practicing her speech, in which she said, "If you can control a man's food, you can control a man." It triggered something both in his heart and his business mind, and led him to asking the very important question, who is controlling my food? Starting with a food co-op in the garage of his Temple Hills home in the early 1990s, he later opened a restaurant on Georgia Avenue in DC called Everlasting Life Cafe, and in 2001 he opened Everlasting Life Restaurant and Lounge in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Dr. Baruch, having roots in Southeast DC, has opened an additional Everlasting Life location in Anacostia in 2018 inside of the Anacostia Arts Center, and a third location in DC's Tacoma Park by the train station. The rest of the stores from this end of the mall have moved out. I'll assume that eLife will stay in one form or fashion in the new mall. Let's look at the difference from 2018, when there was a large open parking lot, to now in 2023. In the middle of the old parking lot is a brand new building right in the middle of it. It seems to me that the building is still empty or just not completed. The underground parking lot is still empty. If you look through the parking lot, you can see the Goodyear tire shop on the other side of it. I don't know if Goodyear has remained open the entire time of the renovation, but I did forget to go find out if it's currently open. Another thing that changed is the stores on the other side of the Goodyear. Remember the Enterprise car rental? It moved to the other side of the parking lot. Currently, the space beside the car rental is still empty, but back in 2015, these two stores were a martial arts studio and a combo Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin-Robbins ice cream shop. When the martial arts studio closed, briefly it was a thrift store. Let's move further to the left in the parking lot to the International House of Pancakes restaurant. IHOP has been here at least 15 years and has been open through the construction. I don't think they're going anywhere. Beside the IHOP is the Checkers food drive-thru. It's that small little shop in the corner. Checkers has been here at least 10 years. Move further left is the off-ramp back onto Central Avenue, and to the left of that is another fast food shop. In 2015, this was a Long John Silver's restaurant. Actually, I'm surprised that it was open for the 7 or 8 years that it was open because of the bad food and lack of customers. But in 2022, Dunkin' Donuts moved from its old location with the Goodyear Tire and Martial Arts Studio to move here. This perspective is from Central Avenue looking down the ramp. Here's the Checkers on the other side of the ramp in 2018. This is before the new building was constructed in the middle of the parking lot. Now this is after, in 2022. I was wondering, what is this building going to be, because it doesn't look like an apartment building to me. So again, I found my answer on Facebook. Marcus Daniels posted the information about the development July 9th, 2020. The post says that Hampton Park will feature multi-story apartments, retail, offices, hotels, and a $35 million health and human services building. The new center will be a part of a revitalization of the Central Avenue corridor, which has been designated as a life sciences and health corridor. The Hampton Park development will include a 120-room business hotel, 100,000 square feet of retail, which will include a market fresh gourmet grocer, the award-winning Ivy City Smokehouse restaurant, and 4 to 5 story apartment building and townhomes. In addition to the Health and Human Services building, another staple of the area will be a senior day center. A 17,000 square foot center will accommodate the educational, recreational, and social interaction needs of the seniors in the surrounding Capitol Heights area. The area was also designated as an opportunity zone. Established in 2017 as part of the Federal Tax Cut and Jobs Act, the Opportunity Zone program incentivizes long-term private sector investments in urban and rural communities that are explicitly designated by each state and certified by the Treasury Department. The Opportunity Zone for funding Hampton Park raised $35 million towards this project. The sanctuary at Kingdom Square played a significant role in getting the project off the ground. Spearheaded by Bishop Anthony Macklin, the 3,000-member church purchased the Hampton Mall property in 2004, hoping to revitalize it into a community space. Macklin has said, "We knew we needed to do something with this place, Central Avenue, and it means something to me because it's the central dividing point for me for this county. Everything is around us, and if we could draw the synergy and bring people together, we thought that this would be a great place to live, to work, to enjoy what God has done for us." In an effort that lasted about 15 years, Macklin and his congregation led the purchase, lease, and renovation of more than $24 million in properties for church and other retail use, and spurred community-focused development along the Central Avenue corridor in Capitol Heights, leading up to the Hampton Park development of today. This mixed-use project is being developed through a joint venture with Arc Properties Incorporated and Velocity Capital LLC, and is considered a public-private partnership. Prince George's County serves as the public partner in this venture, and it's estimated that this project will create approximately 2,200 jobs. Here's a proposed map of the future Hampton Mall project from Velocity Capital. Let's go in the same circle around the property in order to make comparisons to the new project. Starting with the Home Depot next to the new Dollar General and future Market Fresh grocery store, the E-Life restaurant will move into its new location next to the Beauty For You beauty supply shop in its new location. The tail end of the row will be a new 200-unit apartment building, and then that brings us back to the office building, circling around to the Goodyear tire shop and Enterprise car rental. The far end of the parking lot is the IHOP and Checkers next to the exit ramp. This building replaced the credit union on the other side of the ramp, and Dunkin' Donuts is in its new location next to Central Avenue. The Country Inn is right behind that, which will stay in place. Remember the empty spot where the Enterprise car rental used to be? That's where the new business hotel and Ivy City Smokehouse restaurant will go. Hampton Park has a 277,000 square foot shopping center on 25 acres of land that was originally built 53 years ago in 1970 and was anchored by Ames Department Store and Bally's Health Club. The Bally's closed, became Staples Office Supply in 1992, then became Fitness for Less in either 2013 or 2014, and now Fitness for Less closed this location in 2020. In 2003, Ames, who was the major tenant, filed for a corporate bankruptcy and left the shopping center without an anchor store. Shortly thereafter, Bally's also filed for a corporate bankruptcy. In 2004, the Sanctuary, a Baptist church founded in 1927 with more than 3,000 members, purchased the property as a home for their new church, and they occupied the space of the former Ames building. Construction for the new mall had a start date in 2019, with completion expected in phases over a 30-month period. The residential section of the development will feature a 4-story building with an amenities package including a swimming pool, clubhouse, gym, and recreational area. As part of its long-term commitment to Hampton Park, PG County will own a portion of the land in Hampton Park where it would construct and own a 115,000 square foot office building to house the headquarters for the PG County Health and Human Services Division. In addition, the project will feature a green common area of approximately half an acre in the center of the project to include a pavilion with a restaurant, garden, and outdoor entertainment venue. Now, let's wrap up with my last update by traveling back to Central Avenue going towards DC. I've drove past this little bike shop for years and only recently noticed that it changed. This little building was built in 1948 and held several businesses in it. I remember it as the Maryland Park Bicycle Shop in 2016, but before that, it was Frank Epps and Company Auto Parts Supply Shop. Frank Epps started his auto supply shop in 1963, but closed 45 years later in 2008. When owner John Epps started the Maryland Park Bike Shop in 2011. You think they're related? I couldn't find a date when the building was sold, but I did find the for rent listing removed in 2018 for the 2-bedroom apartment on the second floor. The property itself has been taken off the market. Even the plot of land next door sold for more than $106,000 in January 2022. I found the Facebook page for the bike shop announcing that it was closed for business after 8 years of service in 2020. So now, what's going to happen to 101 Maryland Park Drive, Capitol Heights, Maryland? I took a picture of it in April 2023, and it has a new paint job and a new sign saying Crown Mart. I guess now it's going to be a new convenience store. Did anybody else notice any of the changes around the DMV lately? Did you notice any of these changes specifically? Well, that's the 3 things that I noticed while traveling up and down Central Avenue. Thanks for following me around DC. If you'd like to support my channel, you can click the PayPal donate button, or you can just send me a super thanks. I'm Dickie D, your DC tour guide, and I hope to see you around DC, but I definitely will see you in the next video.